All right, Leo at Eastbrook in 3A. That's our only 3A matchup. Leo showed us a little something last week in terms of life without Connor Kasser, because obviously it's unfortunate that he's out for the season. Perhaps Leo's best football player in the school's history when you break it all down. But Eastbrook also proved they can be vulnerable, especially in the first half, as they were down to Harding by 12 to 11 at halftime. If I'm correct.
They did struggle against Harding. They struggled against Harding last year when they were supposedly a juggernaut as well. So, yeah, that's true. Leo has multiple weapons. Kyle Marzak's run the ball really well. Ryan Leiter's throwing the ball really well. Ryan Leiter has 19 touchdowns this year and over 1,200 yards passing, so it's not like the kid can't throw the ball. So Leo has 22 starters, and none of them last week were named Connor Kasser. So, you know, they can get some stuff done. Will they be able to knock off the #1 team in the state at their place? That's going to be a tough chore. You know, this is kind of a game of wishing what was, because I really would have loved to have seen a complete Leo squad go down there and try to beat the #1 team in the state. But, you know, you can't have everything you want in life. But I really think Eastbrook will be able to get it done eventually. They run the ball really well. They have a balanced offense, really good defense. So, and they've won 31 games over the last 3 years. They've got a great program.
Yeah, Taylor Horn did a great job filling in 4 first-half touchdowns as the running back for Leo last week, filling in for Kasser. But you're right. It's kind of a thing where you would have liked to seen this team at full health against an Eastbrook team, wherever they played. I know it's going to be in Eastbrook this Friday, but it could have been very interesting, and hopefully it will still be.
Oh, I'm sure it will still be an interesting game. It's not going to be a blowout, I'll tell you that much. But, you know, probably the Leo coaches, the Leo fans, the Leo players, they're all tired. Not that they're tired of hearing about Connor Kasser, but they're probably tired of people saying, oh, boy, I wish it would have, as if they've already lost. And so that could be used as motivation on their part.
Yeah, you can never have enough of that at this point in the season.
That's right.
2A, we've got 2 games to talk about, Lures at Madison Grant and also Bremen at Garrett. Let's talk about Lures first because, you know, 69 points last week. 63
I told you it would be over at halftime.
Okay.
It was over like 7 minutes into the game.
I agree, but this is going to be the best team they'll face in sectionals, as you might expect at this point. Does Madison Grant even have a chance?
No. None. That's like saying I'm the best guy named Tom on this set right now. No, Madison Grant's got, this game's going to be over about midway through the 3rd quarter. Madison Grant lost to Eastern, who Lures just destroyed in the first round of the sectional. So Lures is just too tough for, at this level. Their first test isn't going to come until semi-state when they run into either Wheeler or Rensselaer Central. Madison Grant does have some capability that, you know, they've scored well at times, but they gave up 45 points to Bluffton. You know, if you give up 45 points to Bluffton, my goodness, what's James Kanapke going to do to you?
That was my point. That when I saw the numbers from last week, I was like, you know, Bluffton has improved. Casey Kolkman's done a good job. Their quarterbacks played very well this season. But if you give up 45 to Bluffton, how many are you going to give up to Lewis?
Well, James Kanapke, Kenny Mullen, Steve Kiermaier, Nick Chappell, all those guys, they're going to just go into the locker room and say, how much do we want to win by tonight? And somebody will say 24, somebody will say 36. Let's just go with 42.
All right. So Bremen at Garrett is the other 2A sectional we're talking about. For Garrett, this will be their toughest opponent in the postseason so far. What do the Railroaders have to do to knock off Bremen, who's a team that's beat some pretty good teams heading into this championship game for the sectional title?
Well, it would probably take about 3 car wrecks, 2 kidnappings, and possibly a murder for Bremen to lose this game. Bremen is a really difficult matchup for them. Bremen's beaten Fairfield, Whitco, and a 9-2 Jimtown squad. Garrett has not beaten a team with a winning record this year. So, unfortunately for Garrett, their season's probably going to come to the end on Friday. They do run the ball well. It's entirely possible they could get some stuff done, but I really look for Bremen to get this game. But, you know, it's in Garrett, so you never know.
Yeah, it certainly isn't always a good home field advantage at Memorial Stadium. Because Bremen beat Whitco and they beat Fairfield at Fairfield, which, okay, Fairfield's down a little bit this year, but they beat Busco in Week 8. It's a tough place to go. You feel that they're just more prepared for this game, perhaps?
Well, they play a much more difficult schedule than Garrett does. I mean, they played Plymouth, they played some bigger schools, and like Fairfield, good programs. So, and they played Jimtown. I mean, the Jimtown's always good, no matter who they have.
Jimmies.
Yes, and so they play a really difficult schedule every year, and that prepares kids. You do that as a freshman and a sophomore and junior, and pretty soon you're not that worried about 6-5 Garrett squad.
Yeah, and you move on to 1A. You've got Busco at South Adams. I think, you know, we talked about this a while ago. This is kind of how you saw this one shaken out. You like South Adams. Now, everybody that was watching, you liked South Adams
Do you have that on tape?
Oh, yeah, we do.
Okay, right.
And on the internet, so it'll be there forever, thanks to Al Gore. You picked South Adams week 1 of this playoff system. You picked Busco week 2, so now everybody's wondering who you're going to go with as you head into the game where they match up.
Where's that quarter?
You're flipping.
I am going to flip. No, I'm sticking with Busco for the second consecutive week until they lose, and then I'll go back on the South Adams bandwagon. But no, Churubusco is playing really, really well. Although I'll give Southern Wells credit. Southern Wells has had really a horrible month. Not horrible, they were 2-2, but really weren't the Southern Wells that everybody knew. And they battled Churubusco very, very tough. Mark Lefevre does a magnificent job with the Southern Wells program. So Busco didn't just roll over Southern Wells like I thought they would. So it is very possible that South Adams could give Churubusco a run for the money in this. And it's about a 2.5-hour trip down to Pinedo for Churubusco. I'm exaggerating there, but it's a long trip, and so that'll take its toll as well. But I really like what Churubusco does, offensively and defensively. I mean, Kyle Mathewson, 2,000 yards, 29 touchdowns. Kyle Monk, 10 touchdowns, and then defensively, 6 picks. Lane Falk, 6 picks. If South Adams tries to throw the ball, which they do like to throw the ball some, it's going to be tough against that secondary.
You've got another long trip. I mean, Bern is not any closer than Pinedo. Is that really something that takes its toll when you look at a Friday night of the guys, they got to go to school, then they got to travel, and then they got to play a game at 7 o'clock?
It does, but, it is tournament time, so 17-year-olds, their momentum, their adrenaline's flowing, and they're pumped up. But, yeah, all day long in school, they're sitting there getting antsy about making that trip over to South Adams, and so, they just need not to be intimidated by the Starfire nickname, which is the best nickname in sports.
Absolutely. So you've got about 5 of our, if I do the math correctly, 5 of our 10 teams moving on. I would say 4. I don't think New Haven gets by Delta, but I do think it's a better game than I think people statewide will give it credit for.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of a coin flip game. I could see that one going either way, but I think it's going to be very, very difficult for Leo or Garrett to advance.
All right, we'll have to see this Friday night sectional finals. He'll have you covered all the way through those games and into next week, and I'll have you covered Friday night on the Highlight Zone. But for now, thanks for logging on to Wayne.com, and we'll see you again next Monday.